let's check in with the listeners.
Hey, listeners.
Hi, listeners.
Hi, guys, girls, dogs.
Listeners, remember you can always reach us at the email address gamescoop@ign.com, just like Eric Wallace did. He says, I'm a big fan of the show. Wish it was an hour and a half long. We gotta go to the bathroom.
Why not go a full 24?
Yeah.
Let's just do this.
He says, I have both
Play
the
Dark Souls
PS4 and Xbox One and have since day one. Lately, though, I've not had reason to turn on my PS4. With my Kinect, I can drop out of a game to any app instantly, switch to my TV, between Sunset Overdrive, the Master Chief Collection, some smaller games like Telltale Episodes and Limbo. I haven't had reason to pick up my DualShock. Exclusive content with games like Assassin's Creed Unity, Dragon Age, and Call of Duty will keep me there until the Order 1886 comes out.
Are you reading a press release? This reads like marketing speak.
Basically, I have plenty to play with my all-in-one entertainment system. My question is this. Where are the first-party exclusives that have made me love PlayStation since the 90s? And I know they have indies and I enjoy them, but I'm not getting my God of Wars, Ratchet and Clanks, Gran Turismos, etc.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Sony's had trouble keeping a regular pace of content coming, for sure.
On the first party front, yeah, but I think they've done a good job of sort of like suffocating that with this shotgun approach of, or masking, I should say.
Yeah, very scared.
There's enough third-party and indie stuff happening up on the platform to make things seem like the party's really busy. But when it comes to first-party stuff, like, yeah, it's been a huge disappointment.
Yeah.
Huge disappointment.
I actually put together a handy PS4 exclusive tracker here for you. I gathered.
Scoop exclusive.
Yep. I gathered every PS4 exclusive coming I could find that has been announced. And note, these are not timed exclusives. These are not console exclusives. Not even like PlayStation family exclusives where they're also coming to Vita. These are only PlayStation 4 exclusive games, and I found 23 of them.
Coming just had been announced.
Yep. The problem, maybe that Eric is worried about, is that not many of them are AAA games, and only 2 have release dates.
It's also worth pointing out
Only
that
2 have release dates.
Drive Club is actually fixed and working now, but that was one of their big fall games.
That was meant to be one of the big pillars.
And was a big bust when it launched. So it's like, and the Order looks, again, it's a game I said I'm waiting for the reviews. Maybe it'll be great, but it's looking a little bit shaky, leading into the launch of that game. So it's like you hang your hat on certain things that maybe do or don't pan out. Like, what if Halo didn't turn out to be great? Then where would the Xbox have been?
Yeah, exactly.
That's just the nature of how it goes. Like, they have no exclusives, and it's like, well, no, they made some bets that didn't quite pan out.
So the Order 1886 is the next exclusive on the horizon. That's February 20th. And then
It's so soon.
yeah, but then March 24th they've got Bloodborne. And that's a game people are super excited about. But that's it for dated exclusives. Now, there are other games we know about. Coming this summer is Until Dawn, which we have gameplay footage of here.
Which one's that again?
That's the horror
kind of choose your own
slasher.
Oh, right.
Choose your own adventure.
Hayden Panettiere, who I don't really think that they really captured her look that perfectly.
So this is the one that was originally announced as a PS3 game and then went dark. Like, it was one of those games that you never expect to come back, but then it did come back in a big way, and it looks awesome. I remember this now. This is the one where you're like in a slasher movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you're kind of making like all those split-second decisions that you're always criticizing the protagonist for not making properly when you watch one of those movies. You're going to be making all those.
Or maybe
decisions.
In Cabin in the Woods would be a better example, minus like the final.
Well, I was going to say, if it turns out like Cabin in the Woods, you'll definitely see me on day one playing that.
Oh, yeah.
Like with all the horror tropes, like it's embracing them. Yeah. This looks super rad.
And then there are 2 exclusives coming this fall that we know of. Disgaea 5.
Yeah!
Which I'm super excited for.
Only me and Damon care.
That'll be awesome. And of course, Uncharted 4.
Yeah.
Right.
Should be coming this fall. But now, that's it for exclusives that even have a release window. So there's 17 more games here, 18 more games that are just TBA.
Yep.
They include games such as Alienation.
Awesome. I would argue that is actually a really important title for them.
Because
following
this
up.
is Housemarque.
I guess I didn't even realize that some of these games, like I didn't know that I already forgot the name of it, the horror game.
Until Dawn?
Until Dawn. Like, I didn't realize that was a PS4 exclusive.
This looks like the game that they went into in Wreck-It Ralph.
Housemarque is a big important developer for them, and
Yeah.
they're not physically big, but I mean this company has not made a bad game yet.
Ever?
I don't think they've ever made a bad game, and that's I don't want to jinx them, but
Look at
Dead
how rad
Nation.
this looks.
This looks amazing. It's like Dead, obviously from the name, it's like Dead Nation, but with with aliens. I think it's going to be super rad.
It really does look rad. I'm not wild about the title.
Alienation.
It sounds really generic, but this game looks awesome. This looks really fun. Just like classic twin stick shooter.
They call it the spiritual successor to Super Stardust.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness
Ooh.
gracious.
And really Dead Nation. I mean, I'm surprised they would say
That's,
Super Stardust.
that's like the obvious
That's literally
connection
what it
to make, right?
is the next in that series, but yeah.
Super Stardust. Like, there's not that many developers that can trade on just their reputation.
Yeah, and Housemarque is one of the, and especially for being such a relatively small studio, it's impressive that literally they have everyone who knows that studio instantly associates that name with quality.
I've probably spent 100 hours playing Super Stardust HD.
Oh, yeah.
That game's so good.
And Resogun. Oh my god.
Resogun
man.
was great too. You guys remember the movie and TV show Alien Nation?
Yes, with they were all bald, but they had the weird thing.
They got
back
drunk
there.
off rotten milk.
Yeah, that was a weird show.
I don't remember that show, but why are most aliens depicted in movies and TV show naked? Humans wear clothes, but aliens always just show up in their skin.
They were close aliens.
in
They
that
were
show.
bald though. Bald is the weird. We don't have the assumption that aliens can grow hair.
Isn't that also
They're
like
always
asking-
bald and they're often not wearing clothes,
Yeah.
just in shows and movies in general.
Isn't that like half a step away from asking why they don't all have like 2 arms and 2 legs? I mean, clothes are like a human thing. We don't know, we don't know how they rock.
It is a weird thing to assume that they can create sophisticated technology that will allow them to travel to distant worlds, but they can't make pants.
Yeah. Why don't they wear pants?
Or maybe they're enlightened beings who know that pants are the worst ever, literally.
Maybe our clothes are just are keeping us down.
Yeah, that's a fair point. I take my pants off as soon as I get home.
Really?
So
I'm in that club too.
yeah.
I'm right with you.
Hate pants.
Capcom has Deep Down,
Right.
their free-to-play multiplayer dungeon crawler RPG.
Yeah, it's insane. Like it's Dark Souls, but it's free to play and it's multiplayer.
Yeah.
It's how bizarre. Like, not in a bad way, but I'm just serious. I'm super curious to find out how it turns out.
Right.
Because
So-
the Capcom logo might as well be a question mark these days.
Capcom?
Yeah.
Sadly, yeah, it's sadly true. I mean, I love that studio. They've created
Look
a lot of
at
things
the
that I've loved
crazy
over the years.
twist.
But
Yeah, they're doing an Assassin's Creed. twist
That's
here.
exactly what I was going to say. Is this is some Assassin's Creed level of when that game was announced, there were little hints and clues that maybe it had this sci-fi thing. Then that ended up being the entire game. And then
Yeah.
Deep Down is super similar in that way. I mean, what makes or breaks this game will be the free-to-play element of it, the free-to-download element of it.
Wow.
you know,
Is that barrel?
is
Barrel's
it going to be?
confirmed.
Is it going to be exploitive and take advantage
Yeah,
of,
so what's the
okay,
model?
you know, here's a boost if you want to get through this crazy hard part, or will it be reasonable and fair? You know.
yeah, imagine how differently people would feel about the brand of difficulty that Dark Souls brings
Yeah.
to the table if you could buy your way around it. I think people would feel really manipulated.
That's always the big problem with any free-to-play game. Is like, is this section of the game hard because it's hard, or is it hard because here's where, you know, they want people to start transacting
Right.
and spending money?
And once that thought enters my mind, that's it. It's over. Like
Yeah.
my experience isn't good anymore, even if it's a question. You know.
So, but if there's no gameplay, you know, maybe it's just going to be like outfits and cosmetic stuff, or, you know, who knows? If they do it right, this could be great.
I am mesmerized at how cool some of those bosses looked.
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah.
this stuff is just bizarre.
That's Deep Down. There's also Everybody's Gone to the Rapture, which looks cool, but we
Yeah.
don't know a lot about. But I like what I've seen of that one.
Yeah, it looks to be another, you know, first-person exploration game, you know, probably heavy on.
Dare you say an FPX?
That's a term that I had never heard before and is now everywhere.
PX.
First-person exploration.
Oh, yeah, I actually like that.
Do you know where that specifically got coined?
Hell.
Hell.
Yeah.
You don't like it?
The dark. It's a little. You know, it's not terrible. It's a little marketing speaky to me, but you know.
I want to figure out, someone must have written an article or something, because I'd never heard FPX, and now I've heard it, I think, like 10 times this week.
Yeah, it is kind of blowing up. Maybe it's trending on Twitter or whatever the kids are following.
So
these
is
days.
like Far Cry 4 an FPX?
That would be a shooter. FPX would be like a game without
So Gone Home.
like Gone Home,
Right, Gone Home.
Gone Home.
Yeah.
Think Gone Home.
Because you explore in Far Cry,
You do.
but you also shoot.
Right.
Yeah.
I think the
You
term
also
is
ride
reserved for the games.
elephants.
Yeah.
The ones that don't have combat.
Okay.
Yeah. Like the Gone Home, and now there's all kinds of games like it.
Yeah. Far Cry is technically an FPE,
Dear Esther, games like that.
No, it's not.
first-person elephant riding.
Okay, got it. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
There's Fat Princess Adventures, another game in the Fat Princess series.
Which is an
Yes.
FPA. Don't laugh at that.
It's really
Sorry.
good. Yeah, I don't. It's not. I don't know what they're doing with this.
I wrote a preview of it for after I was at the PlayStation
PSX.
Experience, and I gotta say, I'm a little bit concerned. It's kind of like a co-op action RPG light. Very. It doesn't have all the same charms I felt that the original had. The art style is kind of different. Everything is shaded in a different way. I don't feel like the colors pop quite in the same way. It doesn't run as silky smooth. But then again, the game is early on in production, so who knows? I felt like the original Fat Princess, within the realm that it was in this kind of competitive multiplayer realm, it was kind of different and doing some different things.
It had so much personality.
It had so much personality and so many mechanics that made it feel distinct. But I don't feel like if you didn't tell me this was a Fat Princess game, I feel like it could be any other kind of isometric hack and slash.
That did sort of feel like an afterthought even in that trailer. Yeah. I appreciate like some of the sensibilities in that like sort of claymation art style.
Yeah.
But I do really like the original Fat Princess art style, probably more. So
Yeah, I do.
I'm torn.
There's N++, which has been a long time coming.
Cool.
Yeah.
Is it an actual brand new sequel, or is it because there was N
It's-
plus?
Yeah, and so I think this is.
I want to point out
It's a new
these graphics are only possible with the power of the PlayStation.
Are we
That's
seeing
right.
a level creator on the scene?
Yeah, so there's level design, or this is either how they generate the level,
Oh, okay.
or I assume there'll also be a level design for us too.
So I mean, N plus is an incredible
Yes.
downloadable game. I
Yeah.
guess I missed
That was for Xbox Live.
originally.
that was-
and
yes, it
it
was, yeah.
eventually came to handhelds, and it ended up
So
NPC.
the original N was like a Flash game, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then N
then-
plus was originally XBLA, and then eventually made its way to other consoles over time.
Yeah, I feel like I played it on DS even.
Yep, that's
The
what I said. It was on the
version,
DS.
It's a fascinating trailer.
It was so.
yeah. Maybe I didn't pick the best B-roll for this.
I'm just waiting for him to jump through it. There we go.
Hey.
N started the trend of it certainly wasn't the first game, and you can trace anything back, but
Sure.
like we wouldn't have Super Meat Boy without
Right.
games like
Totally.
N+.
We would not.
Like it started that trend of like brutal, precise, ultra hard platforming that like demands 10 seconds of precision.
Dust Force.
Yeah.
As well.
I'm
paved the
super
way
pumped.
for it.
I guess I totally
Duck
missed it. That was
Force. Dust Force.
Dust Force.
Yeah.
I remember that one.
a PS4 exclusive on that one. Interesting.
There's a game called Rime, R-I-M-E.
It looks so good. Do you have the Rhyme trailer?
I did. I ran out of time.
Rhyme looks so.
Is that the one from the French guy? The
French
Rayman,
guy?
the Rayman creator?
No, I
not
can't.
that one?
I don't
Oh.
think so. I can't.
Michel
Michel
Ancel?
Ancel?
Yeah.
No.
Okay, no.
Rhyme looks like a indie Zelda, basically, like a gorgeous Zelda game with like the trailer is so full of emotion, even though there's no like dialogue in it. Just like this boy running through these fields, like it's terrible for me to try to describe it. But look up the Rhyme trailer.
It's definitely Wind Waker-esque.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's really beautiful. It struck a lot of the same chords.
It looks really beautiful, and it's just striking. Like it stuck with me after I watched it.
Hey, Justin, can they watch that trailer on IGN.com?
Go to IGN.com and search Rhyme in the search box.
I'm gonna do that.
AOL keyword Rhyme.
There's a remake of Shadow of the Beast. Shadow of the Beast is an old, like early '90s game. I feel like it was on, like maybe even TurboGrafx 16.
That sounds right.
I'm kind of ashamed that it's not ringing a bell for me.
There's
right
a
now.
remake of that game coming exclusively to PS4. Watam, W-A-T-T-A-M, is the new game from the Katamari Damacy guy.
Right.
That's another really funny trailer.
Yeah. Drawn to Death, which
Yes, which I played.
was announced at PlayStation Experience.
Yep, I got to play a good bit of it.
Is that the David Jaffe?
That's Jaffe's new. It's like an arena shooter and totally unhinged. Such a cool art style, and just the way that they even try to weave story into the multiplayer is interesting because it's not with cutscenes or anything like that. It's just kind of baked into the world. Like you look at things that this boy has written in his notebook, or things that have been drawn in his notebook by other people who are kind of part of his life, and you start to unravel little bits about the drama that's going on in his
See,
life.
I didn't realize there was all these story elements.
There's a lot. There's a lot there. When I was talking with David at PSX, I don't want to go into specifics because he doesn't want to spoil things, but there's a lot more gravitas there than you'd think. Like you can totally just play it like an arena shooter and go around. And if you do that, I mean, the weapons are just totally funky and out there. Like
So we actually haven't said it out loud. The big thing about this game is the whole art style is sketchy, and it looks like a 13-year-old boy's like just insane notebook of like beasts that make no sense with arms coming out everywhere.
Not just any 13-year-old boy, like an angry one.
Yeah, it looks like that dropped into. That's the video game art style. And what's kind of controversial about the game is I think it's 4 players max.
Oh, it's asymmetrical multiplayer, right?
But it's not asymmetrical. No, it's
class-based.
It is class-based. Yeah, it is class-based. Yeah.
But it's got a very, very small character count. Maybe it's like 6, but it's very small. And I'm sure it's like built around that. But I've just seen a lot of people kind of a little bit on the fence because it's not going to be, the 16 players or whatever that people are
But each of those characters has so many different unique mechanics to them. And the way those mechanics interact with each other, like there are characters that are specifically, like I have a special ability that specifically only does extra damage or stops a special ability of one other character. So team compositions in team games are going to be super big deal. But aside from all the depth,
it might be 4v4.
I think it's cool that there's actually so much story content to kind of wrap your brain around. I think anyone who can remember being like 13 and heartbroken or in love or getting bullied or any of those things will probably find a little section of that world or one of those levels that makes you go, like, ooh.
No, super cool when I was 13.
What if you were bullied by your love?
That
Then
happens,
you were me.
actually.
I think that's a Joy Division song.
Really? By your love. Gran Turismo 7 is supposed to arrive either this year or next. You think most likely next? Why are you just laughing?
No, because we're all kind of reaching that age where it's like, okay, so you remember Spaceballs?
Yeah.
When they're like, and now we're going to review Rocky 5.
Yeah.
That was it. And it's like, that's where I feel like we're approaching now. It's like, this is like, 18-year-old us was like, imagine if they have Gran Turismo 4 and like really like, the numbers.
For me, that was like when I think it was like Mario Party 10 or something like that. You stop numbering them.
Yeah, you gotta start. You gotta do the colon.
Yeah.
Mario Party colon.
Or you gotta do all the cool
Wild
kids.
West.
Fun Island.
Yeah,
What all the cool developers are doing now though is you just drop the number.
Yeah.
just Mario Party.
It's called Mario Party.
It was either at Gamescom last year or TGS. They announced a new Hot Shots Golf.
Yes, that makes me so
That would be
excited.
awesome.
I
That's cool.
love
I could totally
that
play a
series.
new Hot Shots Golf.
Yep.
So good. It's one of those things where
sounds
like
really good.
that's exactly like I gotta be in the mood for it. Just like I gotta be in the mood for Thai food. I don't want it every day, but I do enjoy it tremendously. I enjoy Hot Shots Golf, but it wears out its welcome, and it's been a few years, and I'm ready for it to come back.
Once I tee
How long
off
has it
on-
been since you had Thai food?
It's been a while.
So once I tee off on the first hole of a new Hot Shots, that's it. It's like in the veins. It's just
like the best
I
moment.
can't stop.
Yeah.
I can't stop.
There's a game called Hunger. I don't know. I don't know. We're definitely getting into the weeds here.
Yeah.
Oh no, there's something that. Okay, well, keep going. I'm waiting for you to say something.
Tearaway Unfolded. That's a PS4 exclusive, even
Yes.
though it's different enough from the Vita version.
I think that's a lot of games that people missed on the Vita, so I'm glad that it's getting another chance at life. It's supposed to be really charming. A lot of people vouched for it, but if you don't own a Vita, what are you going to do? So Sony apparently felt the same way. Give that game another shot at the success it deserved.
There's something called Vision Ek. It's one word intercapped. Vision spelled with a V.
No.
I don't know. There's a game called Wild. Maybe that's the game I was thinking of.
No, you're.
Which one's Wild?
Anyway,
Should be a great year for PlayStation.
these are PlayStation exclusives coming sometime.
Well, like, there's a lot of these games, you're like tickling my brain because I watched all the PSX trailers and I caught up on that news because I was not working that day.
I skipped one. Did I say the Tomorrow Children?
No.
That's another
No, you
one.
didn't. That one
The
looks
Tomorrow
interesting.
Children.
It's like these are games that I vaguely remember like reading about, but then I
They
can't.
appeared once in their sizzle reel during their E3 indie games montage or whatever. TBA for 2016, 2 more games. What Remains of Edith Finch?
Right.
Anybody know anything about that one?
So they showed a trailer of it. It was in the sizzle reel at PSX.
Is that the Unfinished Swan developers next game?
Yes, it is. It's their next one.
So they're another like
2016 for that one?
Yep.
All right.
Well, we're in 2015 now.
Yeah, I know. We're very early in 2015.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a long time away.
The story setup sounds very interesting. It's a person returning back to their hometown for a funeral, where
That's another
basically
PlayStation Experience game?
yes,
Yep.
and basically they are the last living. Their family line is cursed, and they've all died. Like they all die these horrible deaths that are kind of unexplained. And she's the last one of her family, and she's returning back to her
Jeez.
hometown to go to the last funeral and presumably learn more about what this curse is.
Yeah, I mean, I'm expecting something, really clever and sort of heady, and if Unfinished Swan is any indication, I think it's definitely one to watch.
Yeah, those guys are geniuses there, and they're really, really great dudes. I've talked to them on several occasions, and Unfinished Swan, I think, was such a treat. So totally looking forward to that
It's
one.
a really special game.
And Without Memory has been announced for 2016.
That one I couldn't tell you anything about, but what I could tell you something about, and I guess it's not on your list because you said this was only PS4, like just PS4 exclusives, not PlayStation Family exclusives. But I was hoping you would mention a game called Helldivers.
Yeah, I'm aware of that one too.
Yeah, because Helldivers looks super sick, and I take every opportunity I can to tell everyone that they should be looking out for that game because in terms of like multiplayer co-op, that's going to surprise a lot of people.
It's the business?
Yeah, it is the business. There's an unbelievable amount of tactical depth and customization there.
I can't believe it.
Yeah, you won't be able to. I promise you.
Okay.
Well, there you go. There you go, Eric. That is 23 exclusives coming to PlayStation 4. Only PlayStation 4. True exclusives. 3 of them are AAAs coming this year. I know you probably want to get. They probably want God of War, new God of War. That's probably what the.
It was Uncharted, The Order, and what were the
Bloodborne.
And Bloodborne are the 3 AAAs.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we know that a new God of War is coming, and we know it's been under development for a while at Sony Santa Monica. It just isn't going to be coming this year. We don't have any real solid info on when it's coming.
Prediction. I think this is a good candidate to just be God of War. That'll be it's a good candidate to just get the name God of War.
So
Otherwise, what's the number? 5, 6?
So they have not. Well, the number would technically, by number of games in the
Do you
console
count
series.
the handheld ones?
If you're going by numbers on the console series, it would be, I guess, technically 5 because Ascension was the 4th one. But
Yeah.
if you go by chronology, they haven't talked about exactly when it's going to fall yet. They've only given us one detail, and that it is absolutely not in any way, shape, or form a prequel. Okay, so we know that they have confirmed it is not a prequel, but they've also been dodgy when asked about, well, is it a sequel? When does it happen in the timeline? I have a feeling because
We talked about this. We speculated.
We've talked about this. After there were some unfortunate layoffs at Sony Santa Monica, there were talks that from Sony that the phrase they used is that sometimes a big franchise just needs a reboot, and they didn't mean it in the literal sense of like a big franchise needs to be rebooted in the typical sense of the word. They really meant it needs another chance or needs to start fresh, kind of in terms of leadership or direction.
Yeah.
But given how vague they've been about whether or not it's actually a sequel, and they've ruled out prequel, I have a strong feeling that it's actually going to be a reboot.
Yeah, I mean, what I would like to see is have them tackle Norse mythology or something else. Like you can have God of War, you can have kicking the ass of all these gods without it being Kratos and without it being Greek gods. So
that's really good.
there's no gods left to kill.
They're all gone.
He's out.
He's got to move on to a different pantheon.
Yeah.
There's not
Yeah,
left.
I don't want
Jesus.
to. I don't want to see him before he ripped off their heads the first
Yeah.
time,
Right.
and then put them back and then
Before
rip them
he's
off,
fighting
like,
gods.
or when he's in high school. No, I don't care. I like your idea a lot. I've never even thought of that. That's a really good idea.
Before we go this week, I want to show you this. Toho Studios in Japan released the first teaser poster image for the new Japanese Godzilla film.
Oh man.
Now, I think this looks cool. However, I will say, it's been 10 years since we've had a Japanese Godzilla movie.
Yeah.
Last year we had the Hollywood one that was a big hit, and I think Godzilla's a very the Japanese have a lot of pride in this thing because it's a worldwide phenomenon that they created. It's their thing, their monster. So when that was a big hit, they announced Toho would be making a new Japanese Godzilla film, and they wanted to show the world that we can still do Godzilla like no one else. So, but this looks cool, but I could make this. With my own very rudimentary Photoshop skills, I could have made this.
Photoshop? Damon, this is MS Paint.
I know.
This is MS Paint.
Maybe it's gonna be gritty. Maybe it's gonna be
okay. Maybe.
Maybe it'll be the equivalent of the Raid, but Godzilla.
Yeah. I don't know.
Where there's a 50-story building and Godzilla just goes from floor to floor fighting everybody in it. Because I would watch the hell out of that.
That's not exactly what I meant.
No, but I'm looking. I would still really like to see the Japanese take another swing at the kaiju market. That they kind of they created really.
Yeah.
They're in a tight spot because they almost can't make it big budget and slick and nice because then that makes comparisons to this Hollywood movie that aren't fair. Really, even they don't need to be made.
Japanese movies, their budget doesn't come anywhere near what Hollywood movies' budget is.
So I think they
it's
almost have to take it in a little bit more personal direction.
Yeah.
Well, you can't put a guy in a suit again. Or can you?
I think see, I think maybe go the other way, just make it really campy. I don't know.
Yep.
That could be fun. Anyway, that's all the scoops we have for you this week. Remember, you can always reach us at the email address gamescoop@ign.com. Thank you, Justin. Thank you, Vince. Thank you, Brian. My name is Damon. This is IGN Gamescoop, and we're out.